Did you know that you could delete Instagram and TikTok tomorrow and still make a ton of money selling digital products online? I thought I had to post every day and I burned out fast. After 3 long months on TikTok, I'd only made $167, and honestly, I thought it was never gonna work. But then I stopped posting on social media. That's when I built a 6-figure digital product business that averages anywhere from 10 to 15K a month in revenue. And so in this video, I'm going to show you how you can get traffic without social media using just 2 platforms that most people completely overlook. I'm also going to show you how to start even if you're a beginner or an introvert like me. So let's start with the one reason your social media content probably isn't leading to sales of your digital product. And it has nothing to do with how good your posts are or how often you're posting or how much effort you're putting in. The real reason and the real issue with social media is that one post on average on Instagram has only 48 hours of lifespan before the algorithm decides it's no longer worth pushing to new people. And so unless someone is visiting your profile or your post goes viral, which is super rare, that content is now good as dead. And then on TikTok, it gets even worse. You've got minutes for the algorithm to decide if your content is worthy. And if it doesn't get engagement in that first hour, it's pretty much dead too. And TikTok themselves even tell us they want us to post multiple times in one day, which is crazy. So the question is all of that really worth your time? Well, I want you to hold on to the answer until you see this, okay? Because content on YouTube lasts between 20 to 40 days. And on Pinterest, it's anywhere between 6 months and a year. And this isn't just my opinion I'm throwing at you here. The data comes from a study by Refinery. But based on my experience, I've had pins from a year and a half ago still bringing me in traffic today. And I've got YouTube videos that have blown up months after I posted them. And here's an example so you know I'm not making this up. Here's a video that had just 642 views 30 days after I posted it. Now, 184 days later, it's got 20K views. How insane is that? And that's the difference between hustling for 48 hours of attention on social media versus building a strategic evergreen system on YouTube and Pinterest that works for you months or even years after you hit the publish button. So, how do we make sure that that content we're posting on YouTube and Pinterest actually lasts as long as possible? Well, you do it by tapping in to the power of search. On YouTube, you need to focus on putting keywords related to your niche inside your video titles and descriptions, as well as just saying them naturally in your video, because YouTube is smart and it can pick up exactly what you're saying. Now, especially if you're in like the info sharing space, if you're teaching something, you need to use phrases that people are typing into YouTube, like how to, best ways to, 5 ways to, step by step. Using these in your title will really help get your video discovered. They're more likely to show up in search results when your ideal customer is looking for your content. And if your content is good enough to keep people watching, algorithm will give you an even further push, which means you'll get results from search and performance. It's literally the best of both worlds. Now, on Pinterest, it's almost entirely search-based. It doesn't matter how many followers you are. All you have to do is optimize your pin titles and your descriptions with the same keywords that your audience is searching for. It's literally science. And then your pin becomes a traffic machine, driving people to your content for months, maybe even years after. And so when you're doing this kind of strategy, you're no longer chasing trends on social media. You're literally planting searchable content that will be discovered again and again without you having to post every single day. But here's the thing, right? None of this really works unless you know the right keywords to put in your content so it's discovered. So let me show you exactly how to do that next. The first thing we're gonna do is start with the free method. And you're gonna go into the YouTube search bar and you're gonna type in your niche and you're gonna see all of these suggestions that are auto-populating. This is YouTube telling you the keywords that people are actually searching for. Now you can do the same on Pinterest as well. You just type your niche and you pay attention to those auto-complete results. These are almost the exact terms that the audience that wants to buy from you are searching for. Include these in your titles and descriptions while keeping everything natural. You still want your descriptions to feel interesting and clickable, but if you include those keywords, your content is going to get discovered. Now, if you want a quicker paid shortcut, especially for YouTube, and this is not sponsored, you can just use a tool like vidIQ. It will give you YouTube keyword data, like lots of it, without you having to do any manual research. You can check that out if you want. It will help speed things up. Okay, so now you know how to get discovered, but traffic really means nothing without a good digital product. And so if you don't get this next part right, you won't make any sales. And this is exactly what happened with my student Ashley. She came to me, she actually already had 5,000 followers. She was doing really well. And when she started to post, she got loads of engagement and likes, but she wasn't making any money. And within 20 minutes of us jumping on our first call, I spotted the issue. She was reselling a generic MRR marketing course that had nothing to do with the value she had built with her audience. Like, as she had built a community who really cared about her opinion, her authenticity, her story, a single mother migrant coming to this country with nothing but the clothes on her back, and she built an entire project management career, right? But the product she was offering didn't reflect that. It felt so disconnected. And as soon as we stripped it back and we created her own original, very simple digital product, one that was rooted in her real experience and designed to help people on the same path as her, like, everything changed. Suddenly, her product was aligned and her sales started to take off. And these are the exact steps that I followed with Ashley. I'm giving them to you because I want you to just literally copy and paste them for yourself so you can create your very own profitable digital product, okay? So starting with step 1, choosing your niche, right? This isn't something that you pick at random. It comes from your life story. And so to pick the most profitable niche for you, you need to ask yourself 3 questions. Number 1, what do people come to me for advice on? Number 2, what experiences do I have? It doesn't matter how small, right? And number 3, what struggles have I overcome? This is your niche. And remember, nobody can copy your story. That's what makes you and your product original and credible. And once you've done that, you're going to overlay, wherever you've got to, you're going to overlay that with the 3 big topics: health, wealth, or relationships. Those are the topics that always sell, and I actually have some niche ideas completely for free down in the description box. Okay, step 2. You're now going to define your ICA. This is your ideal client avatar. It's basically the person who is going to buy your product. And the more you understand them, the better your product will be and the easier it is to sell. Now, most of the time, your ICA is just a past version of yourself. So think about who you were when you were struggling with that thing that you're going to help people with. What did you need most at that stage? And you can use that to help you with your research. Step 3, you're going to find and validate a very specific problem that your audience is going through, okay? It needs to be something they will pay to solve. So use this prompt in chat. So say, "Hi chat, this is my story. This is my niche that I want to serve. Please do deep research into 10 urgent pain points that my audience are suffering with and that they will pay to solve. This will form the basis of my new digital product business," okay? From that, chat will generate a detailed report of problems. And from there, you can pick the one you're most aligned with. I also strongly encourage you to validate this, do your own research, and you can use the keyword research that we did earlier. Okay, step 4, it's now time to choose the right format for our product. Now, for beginners, there are 3 types of formats that work every single time. Number 1 is bundles. This can be a collection of PDFs, Notion templates, checklists. It's even more powerful when you turn them into interactive products with AI, and I teach that inside my membership. The second type of product that's going to work well is masterclasses. So much quicker and simpler to create them full courses. They can be one-offs, they can be a short series of 2 to 3 sessions. You can do them live or recorded, and they're very easy to monetize. Now, number 3 is community. This is my favorite and the most profitable. I always say to use Skool to build your community because you can pre-sell the whole thing, you can deliver it live with your members, and then you get paid to create something rather than spend months building a course that you don't know if anyone's going to buy. So step 5 is where we outline our product, and you should start with outlining what's the promise and what is the steps that your product needs to cover, basically, to get your audience a result. And do this before you build anything, right? So you map out where your audience is starting from, point A, where they need to get to with your product, point B. And from there, you need to literally step by step say how your product is going to deliver that. Then that becomes basically the outline and the blueprint for your product. You can then use AI to turn that into the script for your masterclasses, the modules for your community, the content in your bundle, but you always work from an outline, right? It keeps you organized. And step 6 is to build your first version of your product quickly. And this is where most people get stuck because they spend weeks or even months building their product and getting overwhelmed, and then they never have the energy to launch. So to avoid that, you want to give yourself 6 hours in one day to create your product. You can use ChatGPT, you can use AI, and literally Canva AI will probably take care of 80% of the heavy lifting for you. And you only need to focus on the minimum solution, the minimum amount of content that your ICA needs to go from point A, what they're struggling with, to point B, getting a result. Keep it so simple. The faster you can get it out, the more feedback you can get, the more testimonials you can get, and then you can improve it as you go. Now, step 7, this is overlooked, it's so important. Create your lead magnet. As soon as you've created that product, start working on your freebie, also called your lead magnet, right? And design it so that it solves a tiny piece of the bigger problem that your paid product solves. That way, when you're giving it away, you're not just giving something away to freebie seekers, but you're actually attracting people that want your product. You're simply warming them up. And keep this freebie simple. It could be a checklist, it could be a digital experience, a free template, a mini free training. The key is that it naturally leads into your paid product. And this means that when you launch, especially if you've been promoting your freebie beforehand, you have an email list that's already built that is ready to buy. And so step 8 is when you're going to set up your email sequence. So when somebody downloads your freebie, you just don't leave them hanging. You have an automated email sequence. It's normally about 6 to 7. They introduce who you are, they tell your story, they give all of the backstory on why you created the product, and essentially shows your ICA on why that product is a great fit for them. It also will include some urgency and some quick wins and value. These emails will build trust, and emails convert 40 times more than social media. This is where the majority of business owners are making their sales. And inside my community, I literally give you a 6-part plug and play email template so you can get this done super quickly. Now, I know that was a lot of steps, but you simply now have the process you need, the complete system for creating a simple but profitable digital product. You have a strategy on how to market it and get it discovered, and you know exactly how to drive traffic without posting on social media every day. But if you don't choose the right platform to sell and deliver your digital product, the success of your strategy, not exaggerating, can hang on this one decision. And so if you get it right, you're gonna make sales consistently. But if you get it wrong, all your hard work could be for nothing. And that is why you should watch the next video on my screen, where I'm breaking down the top 3 platforms for you to sell your digital products so you can pick the best one for you and make sales. I'll see you there.